Welcome to today's episode of Authors Learning Something New. On today's podcast, we have Viggy Parr Hampton, the author of Ripped Up the Middle in Two, and I'm your host, Rick Tabor, author of Children of the Scroll. On today's episode of Authors Learning Something New, we have Viggy Parr Hampton, the author of Ripped Up the Middle in Two, and I'm your host, Rick Tabor, and author of Children of the Scroll. Thank you so much, Viggy, for being on the podcast today. It's a real honor to have you. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. So it might surprise people that I am an epidemiologist by training. I worked at the CDC for a year as a student researcher on botulism research. And then from there, I worked in healthcare strategy and research before I started writing horror novels. So kind of a circuitous path, but here we are.
Well, botulism, sounds very appropriate for your horror.
Yeah, my first novel, Cold Night for Alligators, is about botulism. So pulling from real life.
I thought that it might have something to do with one of your books at some point. We all pull from our experience, right?
Absolutely.
One way or another. All right. And so show us, first of all, your book, which has an awesome cover,
Here she is.
and tell us what it's all about.
So, Ripped Up the Middle in Two is a motherhood horror creature feature about a recently postpartum woman who thinks there is an evil fairy in the woods who wants her baby.
Wow, that's good. You are creative as heck. Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Well, and this is your special question right now that you asked me to ask you. So, how has parenthood changed you in ways that nobody really talks about?
Well, I want to start off by saying, at least in my experience, nobody tells you the truth about parenthood or motherhood. They say it's the best time in your life. You'll look back and it'll be roses and unicorns and it's all perfect. Not my experience. I don't think most mothers experience. I looked my worst. I felt my worst. I was my worst during that postpartum period. And I thought, as a horror writer, this is perfect. This is perfect nightmare fuel for a horror book. So I channeled all of that into this because I wanted to tell the truth about motherhood from my experience, but of course, make it horror.
Can you give us the name of your cover artist? Because that cover, show us the cover again, because I keep going, wow, this is really attention getting. The lady screaming on the cover of this book, it screams, pick me up.
It
And
does.
at least figure out what this is about.
Yes.
Also, what's very interesting about your cover is you managed to get an author to review your book right there on the front cover and give you a great review. Now, do you know this person?
Yes. So, answer your first question. My cover artist is Nuno Moreira. He's done all of my book covers. He's absolutely fantastic. And just for some insight into his process, he reads every manuscript first, and then he gives me 3 or 4 cover options.
Wow.
And so it's a very collaborative process. And it's not me. I don't ever direct him. I just say, read this book and make what you think will work. And he hits it out of the park every time.
Wow.
So that's Nuno. And then as for the blurb, so I actually have 1 here and I have 2 on the back.
Nice.
And in this case, I do know all of these authors. Thankfully, through my own podcast and through meeting people at conventions, I've met a lot of authors and I say, hey, do you want to blurb my book? And sometimes people say no, sometimes they say yes. And I love having these on the cover. All of my books, except for my first one, have blurbs, which is just a fun little thing to add.
And it's a very great collaboration as well. I mean, have you been asked to do blurbs as well?
Yes, I get asked. I've had like a dozen blurbs this year or something like that. A lot of the reading I do at this point is for blurbs.
Wow, that's fantastic. Read the blurb.
The cover blurb?
Yeah.
Okay. A postpartum nightmare that perfectly melds humor with nail-biting suspense, wrapped up in the most realistic depiction of life as a new mom I've ever read.
That is incredible. And it's, if you're going to have marketing done, I mean, you really knocked this book out of the park as far as I'm concerned, relative to marketing and your cover artist, and has your cover artist done all of your books?
All of my books, yes.
How did you come up with this cover artist at the very beginning?
So I'm self-published. And when I first started on that journey, of course, I wanted to learn as much as I possibly could, find the right tools, meet the right people. And I found a website called Reedsy, Reedsy.
Right.
And that's
Yes.
how I connected with everybody from editors to my cover designer. And I found him. I loved his portfolio. And since then, I can't imagine another person doing my covers. He's outstanding.
Wow. That's nice. Okay. I got to get on Reedsy then for my next book, maybe.
It's super
So
helpful.
I'm actually querying right now to see if I can get
Okay.
a conventional publisher to
Mm-hmm.
grab me because I do marketing of my own stuff, but I would prefer to have somebody else do that so I can focus on the writing.
I get
Uh,
that.
yeah, but anyway, here I
Marketing is
am.
a full-time job in itself.
It is indeed. And then let's see, publishers. How many books have you written now?
So, Ripped Up the Middle and Two will be my fifth published horror book. I did publish another book earlier this year under a pen name, which is called The Tinder Chronicles, and it's a satirical novel and stories about bad first dates. And because it's a totally different genre, I wrote it under a pen name. So people wouldn't get confused.
Now tell us also about your podcast because I've listened to an episode or two of that and it's pretty intriguing.
Thank you. So, my podcast is called Horror, Humor, Hunger, about all things horror. I do a lot of author interviews. Each season is inspired by a book of mine. And at the end, I have a recipe that I've created based on that book. So, that's where the hunger part comes in. And I've interviewed everybody from best-selling authors to exorcists.
So postpartum depression and a recipe. Tell us the recipe that
So,
goes along with your book.
this one doesn't come out until July 29th. So the
Oh,
podcast season will start on July 28th. I don't have a recipe for this one yet. The finale for season 8, which is based on my previous book called A Veritable Household Pet, which was about a lobotomy. I did just make the recipe for that, and that will be coming out on July 21st.
so it's time. I mean, you've already shared so many things that will help other authors become successful, but do you have anything else that might be useful that you've learned that you go, hey, this is a real gem. And if I share anything with any other author, what would it be? This would be it.
I guess mine would be don't wait for permission from other people. Even though I am self published, I did have an agent when I first started out. I went through the querying process, signed with my agent. We went on submission to traditional publishers, and then COVID hit, and everything was kind of up in the air, and it totally upended the book industry. So that didn't work out. I ended up parting ways with my agent, mostly because we were not on the same page about my creative vision, what I wanted my books to say. And after that, I decided I'm just going to do this myself. And I have loved every part of the process. I am very type A. I love being able to say, this is my cover. This is what the interior looks like. These are the blurbs I'm going to get. And I do all my own marketing already. So I have really enjoyed that process. And I'm happy I didn't wait for somebody to say, oh, this is good enough. Or, oh, yes, that's something that you can write. I can write what I want.
Bravo. Good for you.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Um, do you have a website?
Mm-hmm.
Social media? Where are you located?
Yes. So my website is viggyhampton.com, and I am on TikTok and Instagram at Viggy Parr Hampton.
Podcast? Where's that at? Where can people find that?
Horror Humor Hunger is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and I think almost every other podcast platform. So, Rick, what is your new book about?
So I'm still practicing the elevator speech for it a little bit, and here's what I've come up with. It's a little wordy. Uh, when the city of Chicago and the love of her life are destroyed by two nuclear suitcase bombs, Mila Cross, a brilliant roboticist with epilepsy, and Kelsey, her AI medical dog with an enormous ego, join forces with an extraterrestrial and the Inuit who saved him from the CIA to bring justice to those responsible. Will the team be able to stop the two most powerful leaders on Earth from setting fire to a teetering landfill of lost, broken, and hate-filled nations?
Wow.
It's a lot. And it makes me go, wow, did you really write that? That's a lot of crazy going on right there.
I mean, that sounds epic.
It was a lot of fun to write, and there's a lot of humor. There's political stuff going on. There is a little bit of sci-fi, soft sci-fi, I think, is what you'd classify it as, and action.
Cool. I mean, I think elevator pitches are one of the hardest things to talk about.
I
To
know you
distill your whole
spend
book into a
hours
couple
doing
sentences.
two sentences, right?
Yep.
I can't agree with you more. So, Viggy, I have heard from a little bird that you have three news stations interviewing you in the next few weeks.
I do. Yes.
So tell us what these news stations are. How did you manage that? That's incredible.
Thank you. Well, I live in Savannah, Georgia, and so we have WSAV, WJCL, and WTOC. And for all five now of my books, I have really good relationships with them, and I go on and I do both taped and live interviews. So
Wow.
tomorrow I have a taped interview for WSAV, and the week after I have two live ones for WTOC and WJCL. How did I do that? I have a very good publicist, my mom, who used to have her own public relations firm. So she's the
That's
one
not
who
fair.
I know I got a leg up there, but she makes press releases for all of my books and sends them out, and then I go on and we talk about it.
Wow,
And it's been really, really fun. I love doing them.
that's awesome. Do you go on with your mom or
No, just me.
no? Just curious. You said we go on, so
She's there for moral support.
perfect. Got it. Well, congratulations to you. Can I hire her?
Everybody asks me that. I think I have a monopoly on her time.
Oh man. Okay. Next time.
Next time.
Thanks, Viggy. Please show us your book again.
Yes.
I'm going to show you my first book here. I haven't published the second one,
Ooh, very nice.
Children of the Scroll, and yours is Ripped Up the Middle in Two. These are the next two books that you need to be reading,
Mhm.
especially hers.
Thank you.
So that'll wrap it up for us today. And thanks for watching another episode of Authors Learning Something New. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.